I really wanted to find something that I was more passionate about. I mean, nothing to knock banking, but it just wasn't something that I was like, oh, I'm making a difference. And I really wanted to lead a life of service.
Welcome to Be Locally Loved, where we spotlight the people, places, and ideas that help communities thrive. This episode is sponsored by Be Local, the nation's leader in welcoming newcomers and connecting them to the best places to go, the best things to do, and the best businesses to use in our community. If you want to reach new families moving into your backyard, visit reachnewcomers.com. Today, we're joined by Kim McCullough. She serves as the Downtown and Tourism Director for the City of Georgetown. She has led the award-winning Georgetown Main Street Program for the past 9 years. With 16 years of experience in local government, Kim brings a deep expertise in downtown redevelopment, economic development, tourism, arts and culture, and special events. She is passionate about the community she serves and is committed to creating vibrant, authentic places that foster connection and civic pride. Kim holds a Bachelor of Business Administration from Sam Houston State University and a Master of Public Administration from the University of Texas at Arlington. She's a graduate of the Texas Women's Leadership Institute and the TTIA Travel and Tourism College, and holds a Certified Tourism Executive, also known as a CTE designation, and inaugural recipient of Georgetown's 5 Under 40 Award. Kim currently serves on the board of the Georgetown Chamber of Commerce and as the vice president for the Texas Downtown Association. In her free time, she and her husband enjoy traveling and exploring destinations around the world. Welcome, Kim.
Thanks, Laura. It's a pleasure to be here.
I'm so excited to have you on the show. I have the pleasure of knowing you personally, but some of our listeners might not. So I would love for you to start by diving into the Main Street program. What is that, and why should someone care?
Yes, I could talk about Main Street all day because I've been passionate about it for quite a while now. But our Main Street program is part of a national program. And this started in the early 80s, and it was a result of the bicentennial celebration back in 1976. And there was this renewed interest in historic preservation and rallying smaller communities to do something about their downtowns that were dying. I'm sure many can remember that, in the 70s and 80s, it was very trendy to go to the shopping centers, the shopping malls, and that was taking business and commerce away from our downtown centers. And so this Main Street program became a pilot in 5 states in 1980. And when our Texas founder, Annis Reed, found out that this program was in existence, she opted in for Texas. And so Texas was part of that inaugural launch. Georgetown applied to be part of that first cohort of communities. There were 5 states, and within those 5 states, we had 5 cities selected in Texas. And Georgetown was not one of the original selections. We were not discouraged, though, and we tried again the next year and were accepted in the next year. Georgetown started our own local Main Street program in 1982, and we have been working towards downtown revitalization ever since. It's one of those things that people don't know what it is that draws them to downtown and what makes our downtown so special. But if you look at photos from Georgetown during that time period before Main Street existed, it truly tells the story of how our downtown looked pretty drab. It was very sad to see boarded up windows and
Mm.
a lot of business closures. Being able to have a framework for how we do revitalization, and whether that's historic preservation or economic development efforts, all of that kind of comes together under one umbrella called Main Street. And we still participate in that program to this day. And it's something that we are really grateful to have that opportunity out there and encourage other communities to look into that if that's something that they're interested in doing for their downtowns.
That's really shaped the way that Georgetown has come to be who it is today. Would you say that that's probably the pivot point for Georgetown? Because we've all been through towns in Texas that look kind of run down and, it does not have that economic revitalization, but yet Georgetown's bustling.
I think that it certainly contributed to one of the things that was really a turning point. I think too, back in again that bicentennial year, the following year, there was a group of amazing women that were part of the Georgetown Heritage Society, which we now know as Preservation Georgetown. And they had worked to do a National Register Historic District for Georgetown. And I think that's what really kind of planted the seeds and getting things going. And then we heard about this opportunity to join Main Street. And then that really just gave us that momentum, the framework, and we really just took it from there. And even though we became what is kind of the epitome for Main Streets to get, which is recognized as a great American Main Street city. We were recognized in 1997, but with that recognition, we knew that we still had work to do. And I'm glad that we continue to reinvest and continue to make it a priority to improve our downtown just gradually over time. The work is never done.
I remember when I went through Leadership Georgetown, which is an amazing program put on by the chamber. I heard you and your team present about how hard you work to make Georgetown a place people want to visit. And you talked about the economic development cycle or something. It was like if we're a place to visit, then we'll be a place that people want to live and work. And can you remind me what that's all about?
Yeah, that's a great little analogy that we use a lot. If you build a place where people want to live, people are going to want to visit. And if you create a place where people want to visit, people are going to want to live here. So it's this little cycle that you create this amazing space that locals love. And then the visitors also love those same qualities and things when they come here. And sorry to say, we probably contributed to a little bit of that growth problem that
I
some of our
think
residents aren't as happy about. But I mean, it's because Georgetown is such a special place and I live here. I love it and I wouldn't want to live anywhere else. And I get to work here. And it all started with one visit.
I've really watched it transform in the last, I don't know, 10 or 12 years. My parents were the first to move here, and I was living in Austin. And they were moving from Florida, where they had retired and they wanted to be near their grandson and, well, more him than me. And I remember thinking, Georgetown, that's the place that has the courthouse, but it seemed like it was an hour away to me being in Austin. And now Georgetown seems like an easy drive to Austin. So I don't know if it was, yeah, Georgetown easier. Georgetown and Austin are easier to get between. But I just remember thinking that Georgetown was really outside of the metro. But now there's so many people living here. It's not a bedroom community anymore, is it?
No, no, I think that identity that we have with downtown and with other areas of our community are what makes it its own unique place to live. And it's not just a bedroom community of Austin at all.
Yeah, no, you really can get anything that you want here. So many restaurants have opened up and the shopping is amazing and there's so many fun things for families to do and great employment opportunities. Can you talk more about how the Main Street program works and how it gets funded and some of the events that you guys put on that people probably know very well, but they might not know that it's tied to the Main Street?
Sure. So locally, our Georgetown Main Street program is part of the Downtown and Tourism umbrella. And that's the department that I oversee at the City of Georgetown. And we get to have so much fun coming to work and doing the things that we do because we get to do a lot that's for the public. And that includes, the work that we're doing with Main Street. We also have a Main Street Advisory Board. It's an incredible group of 7 dedicated volunteers. And then we also have a team of volunteers that help with all of our events and committee work. And all of these folks come together because they love our downtown as well. A lot of them are business owners. A lot of them have just moved here to Georgetown and love downtown and want to help continue this journey of revitalization. And so some of the things that we're working on, one of our kind of bread and butter projects would be the facade and sign grant program. And that's truly what has made visually downtown known as the most beautiful town square in Texas, I think, because we have these amazing property owners and business owners that are putting a lot of blood, sweat, tears, and money into these buildings. And as a way that we can show our appreciation for that investment, we try to come up with a match. And so we have this grant program. We can give facade grants up to $20,000, new business signage up to $2,500. Just again, make it a little bit more feasible to do these projects, to encourage these property owners and business owners to do these things. And all of that money that we use for our grant program comes from our fundraising efforts. So, Main Street has a couple of big fundraiser events or promotions that we're doing throughout the year. And one's coming up in about 2.5 weeks. That's the Georgetown Swirl. We're in our 16th year of that event. It's really fun. It's wine, food, and shopping. So, what's not to love?
What's not to love?
And that event has just been a really big part of getting people to come back downtown regularly. They look forward to it every year. And we raise over $35,000 with that event to go towards the grant program. We also have done events like the Blazing Beer Crawl and the Coffee and Cocoa Crawl. And those also, all of the proceeds go straight to this grant program. And all of that is invested back into our downtown. We have an annual fundraiser ornament, which is sold around the holidays. And it's this beautiful collectible Christmas ornament with a featured downtown building. And we rotate who that or which building that will be. And we've got some really great options that we've showcased over the years. And then it's always a surprise that our collectors look forward to is finding out what's this year's building going to look like.
Yes, I have purchased that for Christmas
Yeah,
presents. So, yeah.
it's great. I've collected them since I moved here. And so I have a set of 9 already. And it's just another way that we can contribute to that grant program. And that's how we fund that. And then all of the other activities that we do in our downtown efforts, whether it's our Breakfast Bites program or just meeting with businesses, we do business retention visits, business expansion visits, just trying to make sure that we're keeping a pulse on how things are going in downtown. We do all of that through the city's general fund. We're supported through that, and our salaries are paid through that. And then kind of on our marketing side, we really lean into our Visit Georgetown team to help with promotion of downtown. Again, we really use that most beautiful town square in our marketing and try to promote that. It all kind of comes together. And then we have a special events team. They're dedicated to hosting our largest event in Georgetown, which is the Red Poppy Festival coming up at
Huh?
the end of April. And that's a really big lift. And 2 people manage all of that. And then they have a team that's across the city that all contribute to make this event happen. So it truly is all coming together because of city employees just really passionate about making this event for our community. We want everybody to come out and have a great time. And so it's really fun. And then they also do the lighting of the square. And we're really excited because we just had a new public space that's getting ready to open. And that's going to be the Light and Waterworks District. And that is over in the city center complex by the city hall and the library. And it's located right next door to the historic Light and Waterworks building.
Is that where First Friday Music on the Square will move to?
I don't think so. I think they're gonna keep that on the square. They
You
had,
are.
indicated some interest over there, but I think they might be doing that event back on the square.
Okay.
They're welcome to use that space. We definitely want to see a lot of groups utilizing that for public events. The library has a lot of plans to utilize that space and have some programming for kids and families. So I think we're going to be not short on events for long over there. So more to look forward to in downtown.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you, we did a reel for that when it was all lit up with Christmas lights on Be Local Georgetown, and it was the biggest reel we've ever done.
Oh my
We
gosh.
collabed with the Visit Georgetown folks, and you guys shared it on your page, and it just everybody wanted to know what it was and where it was and what we were going to do with it. And it was very, very exciting news. Your Visit Georgetown team is amazing. I saw a reel that they put out around Christmas time talking about the fact that Georgetown's like a Hallmark movie. With the lights and the enchanting little shops and the romance. And can you talk to us about how Georgetown is so much like what we would imagine in a Hallmark movie?
Sure. Well, and I actually want to give credit where credit is due. That particular Hallmark movie, if you will, was produced by our communications and public engagement team. And then we jumped on that. It looks like a Hallmark movie in downtown Georgetown. We hear that all the time, every
Yeah.
year, and it truly does. Like, we don't disagree, but they took the lead on producing a video that really made it into this Hallmark moment. And then we played off of that. And so they were collaborating and we were sharing it. And I think that a lot of people that are interested in visiting Georgetown during the holidays, it's because they've heard, oh, you have to go. This place is magical. This looks like a Hallmark Christmas movie. And we definitely have leaned into that.
And it really does. Talk to me about the lighting of the square. I mean, that moment almost can bring you to tears. It's kind of emotional.
It truly is magical. I know I've already said that, but there's just something about it that when you're with everybody, you're counting down. I get to be in the courthouse, so I get to see all the faces, and that makes it so special because you just see the kids, the families out there getting ready, and they're counting down with Santa and the mayor and the judge. And then that moment when it goes from completely dark to just lights everywhere, millions and millions of lights. It is just like truly one of the best parts of the year. I think, people don't understand it until they are part of that, but it is just amazing. And it sets the tone for the rest of the holiday season. And people come down here, bring their families, and it's just amazing what that has done for our community.
Yeah, the photos that you take during that time of year are just breathtaking with all of the lights and the trees and on the buildings. I got to ride on the carriage ride. Rock Ride on Center for Kids sponsors that. And someone grabbed a photo of us going by on the carriage. I think it was Ron Parks. And he sent it to me and I'm like, "Oh my gosh, that looks like something we staged and hired professional actors or like that. How is that so beautiful?" So yeah, we really invite people to come up to Georgetown during the holidays. It's really beautiful. Talk to me about Poppy Fest because I will tell you that when I lived in Austin, that was the one event that was really famous for Georgetown. Like, how did that come about, and why does Georgetown care so much about red poppies?
So it's kind of a two-part answer to your question there. So Red Poppy Festival started really as a Main Street event and it was called Mayfair on the Square. And it was just very small, very hometown. Everybody had little tables set up and they had a maypole. And that was kind of how we got this humble beginnings of the Red Poppy Festival that everyone knows today. And over the years, this event has just been built up and built up. And now it spreads over 3 full days. It includes over 180 artisan craft vendors, plus 30 some odd food vendors. They have music and entertainment throughout the entire weekend. We always kick it off on Friday afternoon with the arts and crafts booths opening, and then Dysfunction Junction starts the party. And that's just a good time. They play a lot of music that everyone knows and can dance to. And so I call that the locals night. We definitely see a lot more of our locals out on Friday. And then Saturday and Sunday, we start to see folks from the region and from outside of the area coming to Red Poppy. And then we have our parade in the morning. It then continues with the arts and crafts vendors being open, performances on 3 different stages throughout the day. And then on Saturday, we both an opener and a headliner concert event. And this year, we're super excited. And as another female, you may appreciate this is our first year to have female headliners. And I am just so excited.
Awesome.
Maddie and Tay are going to be our performers this year. And this is actually the last concert where they are going to be together as a duo because they announced it just a couple of weeks ago that they are going to split up and one of the girls will be doing a solo performance gig and then the other is going to focus on family. So if you want to see Maddie and Tay together one last time, Georgetown is the last place where you'll be able to see that at our free concert on Saturday night.
Wow. Where can people learn more about that? Is there a website or social?
Yes. We have redpoppyfestival.com. And then if Friday and Saturday wasn't enough, come back on Sunday and we have even more family friendly fun. We have a pet parade thanks to our friends at Wag Heaven. And that's always adorable to see all of the cute outfits that the pets wear and they prance around our square. And it's just another great day of shopping and entertainment. So it's just a really fun event to bring your entire family to. We certainly encourage folks to use our free shuttle services that are available or walk, ride share, do other things to get into downtown because parking can be a challenge. We do have a new parking garage that is completely free to park in, but it only has 300 some odd spaces. So with the amount of people that we see at this event, it's certainly not enough for that. And last year we had hit a record of over 75,000 people attending this event.
Wow. How does that compare to the lighting of the square? How many people come to that?
So lighting of the square had about 19,000 and that's just
Okay.
set for, a 1.5 hour event. So it's a little bit more spread out, but it still feels pretty cozy at times.
Right. That is a lot of people. I know my son is in the band at Eastview High School, and I know that they have been invited to march in the parade, which is really exciting to be not only the child marching in the parade, but also the parent watching your child march in the parade. So it's really a family fun event.
Absolutely. It's one of my favorites. I invite my family to come into town and enjoy that event because it's just so fun to do together.
So, where did the red poppy theme come from, and why are red poppies so important?
Yes. So red poppies are important to Georgetown, which we are also the red poppy capital of Texas. And that was a state designation that we received. But the story of the red poppies is actually really charming. And back in World War I, there was a young man that his mother lived here in Georgetown, and he was off fighting in World War I and was stationed in France near Flanders Fields. And during the time that he was there, he saw poppies in bloom and thought they were just so beautiful. And he wanted to send something back home to his mother. So he collected some of the flowers and their seeds and sent them back home to his mother, who lived here in Old Town in Georgetown. And she planted the seeds in her yard. And as wildflowers do, the next year they came up, they popped and spread. And so over the years, those poppies spread throughout Old Town. And that's kind of how it got started. And now we have so many new residents moving into Georgetown and people visiting that we give away free poppy seeds at the event. And for quite some time, we give them away at the visitor center following the event as well. So everybody can plant and be ready for the next year to have their own poppies in their yard.
I love that. I actually have red poppies behind
I
my.
love it. I was admiring. Yeah.
Yeah, I know when you live in Texas and you live in Austin, everybody knows about the Texas bluebonnets, and you every spring you rush to get professional family photos of your child in the bluebonnets. But in Georgetown, it's the poppies. You want photos of your family and your children with the red poppies, and there is something really beautiful about them.
There is. And there's actually some funny photos that are on social media on our police department and fire department page because they have a little healthy competition and they'll go take pictures out in the wildflowers, and police department will a lot of times try and find bluebonnets, and then the fire department will find red poppies, and so it's a very cute little thing that they do together.
I love that. Well, I'll tip my screen so our viewers can see my banner there. It says, "If you love Georgetown, it will love you back." And that is a quote that was coined by our friend Ann Kaiser. We were doing a social media promotion for Be Local Georgetown, and we went out and we said, "What's your best advice for a new mover, someone coming into the area?" And Ann said, "Get involved. If you love Georgetown, it will love you back." Can you speak to that? Because you've seen how people have plugged into this town and stepped into leadership and done amazing things even decades ago, like the Main Street program that have, continued to change the trajectory of our town.
Yes, gosh, I love Ann Kaiser, she's
Isn't she
amazing.
awesome? Yes.
She also volunteers with our Main Street program. She serves on our Swirl project team and is always willing to do things for downtown. I see her downtown all the time. So she really does practice what she preaches. And
Best.
I would say that that is so true for Georgetown. It's one of those places that when I moved here 9 years ago, I already had this love for the community and the downtown because I had visited a couple of times and I knew that this is where I wanted to be. But when I started, like, meeting people, they were just so willing to kinda take me under their wing, get me introduced and connected to other people. I remember something that I thought was just so kind, and that was Linda McCullough, our first Main Street manager in Georgetown, set up this special evening with a group of women that were really influential in Georgetown so that I could meet them and get to know them, and they could get to know me. And she didn't have to do that because she wasn't, you know, a Main Street manager anymore, but it was just kind of that example of how everyone takes care of each other and they really care about one another. They care about the community. I've been involved with several organizations from United Way to the Georgetown Young Professionals, and now I serve on the Chamber Board of Directors. And I highly encourage residents to get involved in the community. There's so many ways to get connected, to find other people that have similar interests, or maybe you're learning something new from people. But getting connected truly is the best way that I think that you can find your tribe and
That's right.
also be involved and feel that sense of community, that love.
That's right. That's a big reason why we created Be Local Georgetown for our community is we wanted to have a place that could kind of point people to people, places, and things that they needed to know about in this community. We have an article in the guide called Charities We Love, and that's a great place to go to find your people. Find a charity that you're passionate about and step into service. I'm serving right now on the board of directors for the Williamson Museum, and that's been really fun. We honored Nancy Credit at the Rock Ride-On Center for Kids at the Cattlemen's Ball this last October. So, yeah, I feel like that's a big thing that we do in Georgetown. We take care of each other, we step up, and we serve. How did you come into your role, Kim? Did they recruit you or did you see this job somehow? Like, how did we get you here?
So, um, back 16 years ago, I was actually working for a Main Street program in Huntsville, Texas, just north of Houston. And that's where I got my start in Main Street. I was actually in the private sector before that in banking, and I really wanted to find something that I was more passionate about. I mean, nothing to knock banking, but it just wasn't something that I was like, oh, I'm making a difference. And I really wanted to lead a life of service. That's actually the motto of my alma mater, Sam Houston. And the measure of a life is its service. And so I really felt like that had been ingrained with me from my college years, and my family has always been very encouraging of that. And so I started in Huntsville and I came to Main Street training for new managers here in Georgetown. And that was my first time to ever come to Georgetown. I had no idea it even existed. I lived in a little Houston bubble. And so when I came here, I just instantly knew this is where I had to be. I was going to do whatever it took to get here one day. And so I learned a lot of great things in Huntsville. I loved my time there, but I knew that I wanted to get closer to Georgetown or get to Georgetown. And so I actually took a job in Hutto and I was their first downtown and tourism manager there. And I was in that community for a number of years before this position came open. My predecessor and friend Shelley Hargrove had retired and I instantly was like, "Oh my gosh, I have to go for this." And a friend of mine that worked here at the city was reached out and he was like, "Hey, you need to apply for this position. I think you'd be really good at it." And Georgetown is looking for somebody with, a strong background in Main Street. And I was like, "Oh my gosh, yes, this is my opportunity." And so I really put everything I had into that interview process and I got to be the Georgetown Main Street manager. And at that time, the title was technically the downtown development manager. And so I was doing more economic development focused things and then also still doing special events. So that's how I kind of have been able to deepen my knowledge in various areas and not just in Main Street, not just in historic preservation, but also that economic development, recruiting businesses, working with businesses to grow. We have so many success stories in our downtown of a business having great success. So they open another business and then another business. You may know who I'm talking about.
I
That could
think I
be some
do.
good examples, but we have a handful of business owners down here that have done that. And that just makes my heart so happy that they have had so much success. And I hope that they feel the support that we give them and are able to continue to do more for the community. So that's how I wound up here. And then in the role that I'm in now, I received a promotion. We used to have all of our service areas and economic development in one department. And in order to really put a focus on economic development and put a focus on downtown events, tourism, arts, we needed to have two people really focused on those. So in 2022, the city approved that kind of transfer to where we would each have these areas of focus. And it's been working extremely well. I think that we've demonstrated through the successes that we've had, especially recently, we've had some pretty big awards. And I think that it's one of those things that in the moment you're like, is this the right thing? And then you do it and you're like, oh my gosh, how could we have not done this? So
Who's your counterpart in that?
um,
The other person you said that you broke it into 2.
it was when Cameron Goodman was hired on as
Gotcha.
economic development director. So at that
Gotcha.
time, we had that opportunity. I talked a lot with my boss, Assistant City Manager Nick Woolery, and then we were able to figure out a way that this made the most sense. And so that is how all of it came to be. And we've been rocking and rolling ever since.
You have. I've been watching now for about a decade, and you are such a fit for our community, and we're so glad that you're here. I would love for you to talk about the importance of our local business community. You did just mention a few business owners that have created more than one business because they are thriving here in Georgetown, and you're also serving on the board of directors for the chamber. So, talk about the goal of our podcast, Be Locally Loved, is to help celebrate the people, places, and ideas that help communities thrive. And you have a really unique vantage point for that topic because you're on the city staff, but you're also serving at the chamber and working with all these businesses. So, what do you see from your point of view? How do local businesses play into being a place that people want to live and work and visit?
Oh gosh, I mean, there's only so many things that a city can do to kind of create what we have in downtown. It's the businesses that have really made everything come together, the experience that people have when they come into downtown Georgetown. We have so many amazing business owners. They have incredible sense of, exactly what they need to do to fit the market and then tweak things. And they're just so sophisticated. I've spent time in other cities and I come back home to Georgetown and it's just like, I feel so much pride for what they do and they're so involved as well. So many of them, contribute by sponsorships back into different nonprofits. They will sponsor your little league team or donate things to the Williamson Museum's Cattlemen's Ball. So they just really, I think, get that community buy-in because they are truly all in on Georgetown. And I think that's what kind of sets them apart. And I think also a quote that I love that Cody Hurt and Brad Strittmatter reference a lot when you talk with them. They're the owners of Mesquite Creek Outfitters, the Golden Rule, Goldberger Diner, Camp Brightside, and who knows what else is up their sleeves.
That's right.
But they always say this great thing of a rising tide raises all ships. And it's meant
Yes.
to say, like, the businesses aren't necessarily in competition with each other. They're about supporting one another because if
Yes.
they do well, their neighbor's going to do well. And then their
Yes.
neighbor's going to do well. And it's just this
Yes.
beautiful thing that I'm so glad they get it here in Georgetown because I
Yes.
can tell you, not every community does, and that's why
Yes.
they're not in the place where we're at. So we're really lucky to have such a great cohort of businesses.
Yes, and I'm a big believer in that rising tide lifts all boats thing too. I was just talking about that on our podcast from yesterday. When we are able to see abundance and not scarcity, and when we are able to see collaboration and not competition, that's what happens and we can all win, which is a
Absolutely.
really beautiful thing about Georgetown, I think. What advice would you have for a local business that's looking to come to Georgetown?
Well, I think that if there's a local business looking to come into downtown Georgetown, I definitely want to encourage them to come talk to me and I can help be their business liaison. If not me, then my counterpart with downtown, Rachel White. She joined the team last year in that role. She had been part of our Visit Georgetown team before that for about 4 years and now has come over to the downtown and Main Street side of our house. And so we're always happy to help a new business come in because there's a lot of things to navigate. In various areas of the city, we have different things that you have to do. And in downtown, it's a little bit more, I guess, involved. You have to do not only building permits, but we also have historic preservation reviews that happen, whether that's signs or other things that are facing the exterior of your building. And so we can kind of help be a guide and explain the process, what to do, send all the important information. We can let them know about the grant program that's offered through Main Street. So, really, we're kind of the welcome wagon when a business is wanting to come into Georgetown. We usually have our finger on the pulse of any available spaces because there's not always available spaces in downtown. And so a lot of times they'll reach out and say, "Hey, do you know of anything coming open?" And then we can say, "Well, not right now," or, "Oh, yeah, we've got a property that's going to be coming open later. This is the information on it." So we try and stay in good contact with the property owners when there is a space that becomes available or there's something that will be coming. So a lot of times we know about it before it's ever advertised. So it's again why I encourage prospective business to reach out to us early and then we can help them get connected however they need.
And what a hookup you are to help a local business. So that's really great. I hope everybody hears this podcast and hears you say that. What do you see on the horizon for Georgetown?
Gosh, that's a loaded
It's a
question.
big question, isn't it?
Gosh, again, Georgetown is so special, and I think we have a lot of opportunities in front of us. I'm really excited about the work that will be coming out of our downtown master plan implementation. That was a really big project that our city council worked with us and designers at Design Workshop to create a space that we can continue to we got a lot of resident input, probably the highest amount of resident input on any plan we've had in recent years. And so people are passionate about downtown, but this plan will help us with transforming the downtown square. We have vision to create wider sidewalks so it's safer for pedestrians to walk and enjoy the spaces. Businesses can have a sidewalk cafe space. We'll have, I know, a lot of
What?
additional trees that are added, more lighting, and then we'll do the same thing on Austin Avenue. We have more parking garage structures that we'll be looking at, making a Ninth Street art walk and improvements from the South Main Arts District all the way down to the Light and Waterworks District so that we can connect those two spaces in an artful and planned out manner. We have catalyst sites, and one of them just sold. The historic jail property was identified as a catalyst site. And so we had been talking with the county for quite some time about some of their properties as they look at relocating county facilities from downtown to other areas of Georgetown. So it's really creating a cool opportunity to do some
Yeah.
good things for redevelopment in Georgetown. So those are the projects that get me really excited about what's on the horizon. And I know that not everything will seem perfect when we're going through the construction phase. But if we can get through that and the community can continue to support the businesses through that construction time frame, then once we get on the other side of that, these improvements are going to be amazing. So, really excited about that and all the
Yeah, wow.
opportunity.
I feel like I just got some inside news. That's very exciting.
It's all public information. It's on our website.
Oh, good.
If you go on the City of Georgetown website,
Okay.
we have information on the Main Street program and all about the downtown master plan. We have an item coming to council next week, actually, where they'll be showing some really cool videos of what it could look like. So I definitely encourage folks to tune in for that and get a preview of what we can hope to see once that construction takes place in a few years.
Oh, I definitely want to be at that. So get to the city website to see all of these opportunities for the public to come. Can the public come to the downtown lowdown or is that business owners only? What's that event?
So, Breakfast Bites in the Downtown Lowdown will be coming up on March 24th. And it's really an event that's intended for businesses. So, the focus will be more business oriented, but anybody is welcome to attend. It just may not be as interesting for a resident as it will be for a business because we have a program that's part of that where we're really trying to give the businesses some education or some sort of takeaway. And then the downtown lowdown portion of that event, we do share updates about what's going on in the city, what construction might be coming up with sidewalks or other things, knowing what events are on the horizon. So it's really a big roundtable type of forum where you have a lot of city staff members as well as community partners and the chamber, the Downtown Georgetown Association, and everybody has that opportunity to share what's going on so that everyone can leave there feeling really informed and know how to get better connected.
Is that monthly or bi-monthly?
It's quarterly.
Quarterly. Okay, great.
Yes.
That's definitely something the business owners should have on their radar. I would love for you to speak to the award that you guys just won from the Texas Downtown Association.
So this is one that I'm really proud of. And I can see your Texas Downtown Award
Yes.
background. So that's really cool. We were the inaugural recipient of Best Downtown in Texas. And that was so special to get that. It really is just kind of one of those things where I mentioned we had this Main Street, Great American Main Street Award back in 1997. But we didn't stop there. We didn't say, "Oh, we got that award. We're done now." We kept going. And I think that getting this recognition now just shows that communities have to keep evolving, keep doing. You can't just say you're done. Like this type of work is never done. And so having that recognition from the state, from peers across the network, across other communities was just really validating that the work that we're doing here in Georgetown is, a bit above the bar that most communities have set, and we're just continuing to try and keep raising the bar for ourselves and doing more and more. So it was really, really great to receive that recognition. Our entire team was there because we've all spent a lot of time in investment in this downtown effort. And then we, of course, had council and city managers there with us as well. And then we brought the award back to Georgetown to be able to showcase at a city council meeting so that the public could also enjoy in that celebration. So it was really exciting. And then our friends at the Brass Peacock also won an award that night. So kudos to them as well. And then I know that you've won an award with that organization. We've had many businesses be recognized here in Georgetown. So I think it just speaks to the quality of our community, the quality of our businesses, that we keep getting this recognition on a statewide level.
Yeah, help people understand what a big deal that is. What is the Texas Downtown Association? What is their mission? And what does it mean when someone wins an award from them?
Sure. So the Texas Downtown Association is kind of the sister organization to Main Street. And we were both founded by Annis Reed, who was just this downtown dynamo of a woman. And when she created the program here in Texas for Main Street, she knew that at some point they were going to need some help to reach downtowns that weren't necessarily able to be accepted into the Main Street program or that maybe needed even more assistance. So that's where Texas Downtown was created to kind of help fill that gap and also be an advocacy arm for preservation, for downtown revitalization, for economic vitality for downtowns. So Texas Downtown was created in 1985, and they have just celebrated their 40th year in being a nonprofit. And it's an organization that I've been part of since I came into the Main Street world. It is separate from Main Street, but it works so collaboratively with that. And having the opportunity to be around other downtown professionals across the state and learn tips and tricks from one another is really great. And so having this award program, this President's Award program, it's really the only one that we have in the state to recognize the type of work that we're doing locally with our businesses, with improvement projects, all of the different categories. And so when we put forth that effort to apply for the grants and go through this competitive process, when you win, it feels so good because you put in a lot of work to
It's
that.
not a layup, is it?
No,
No.
no, it
It
is
is
hard
quite
earned.
yeah, it's hard earned and quite prestigious, I understand. So let's name who we know that's won. We know Mesquite Creek Outfitters has won, City Post has won, Breast Peacock just won, Be Local Georgetown won, the City of Georgetown won. Who else has won that award?
Yeah, so KPA Engineers and Cubby Landscape and Pillar and Associates have all won the same category that you were in, the best downtown partner. And then we've also had awards for the Golden Rule, 600 Degrees Pizza, All Things Kids, and I'm sure there's others. Oh, the Swirl has won an award back when it first started. It's been a
Okay.
while, but that's another space, and then we're planning to submit the Light and Waterworks District for an award for this year, so just a little preview of what we're working on.
Right. Very, very exciting. Well, Kim, this has been a delightful conversation. Is there anything else you'd like to share with our listeners? Let them know how they can connect with you. You said the City of Georgetown website, City of Georgetown social media. Anything else that they need to know about
I
to
would
connect
just
with you?
Sure, I would just encourage them to visit our websites, whether it's the City of Georgetown or even Visit Georgetown. You can find my contact information on either part of the website. And we also have all of our social media. We have Visit Georgetown as well as the City of Georgetown. So follow us there. We have newsletters and things that go out very regularly. So, again, getting engaged, getting involved. If you want to volunteer for Main Street, please reach out. We would love to be able to work with you. There's lots of opportunities, especially with our events, to get involved and have some fun.
That's right. A lot of this town runs on volunteer,
Absolutely. Yes,
and it's a great way to make lifelong friends as
it
well.
is. Yes,
Yeah.
I have some really amazing friends that I've gained over the years here in Georgetown, across the state, and so it's one of those things that you keep building that family, and it just, it's a circle that's ever expanding, and I think
Yes.
Georgetown is the epitome of that because
Yes.
there's always somebody that wants to get to know you and get involved and just kinda, you know, get more into the Georgetown family.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to reach out to all of those Texas Downtown Award winners and see if they'll come on the show and tell us the magic that they brought to their business to earn that prestigious award. So
That'd be
That's
great.
exciting.
We're gonna
Yeah.
actually be hosting the Texas Downtown Association in Georgetown May 7th and 8th as part of a regional roundtable. And so we're gonna be doing a walking tour with that group to show them those award-winning businesses that are in downtown. So love to chat with you some more offline about that.
I would love to talk about that. Well, Kim, is there anything else that you'd like to share with our listeners before we wrap? First of all, thank you for everything that you do for our community. You're truly exceptional. And thank you for taking the time to share with us today on the podcast.
Well, thank you so much, Laura. It means a lot that you reached out. I was happy to be able to talk with you. Thank you for what you're doing for the community. I think Be Local is just an amazing way to connect people, give them great information about Georgetown. So thank you and thank your team for everything that y'all are doing.
Thank you. It is our pleasure, a labor of love as well. All right. Thank you, Kim. All right, everybody. We'll see you next time. Thanks for listening to Be Locally Loved. We hope this episode sparked ideas, encouragement, and a deeper desire to get involved in your community.